Welcome or welcome back to At Home with Cici. I am at home and I am Cici, mama to 3 amazing humans and among other things a homeschooling parent. So if you're subscribed, thank you so much, it means a lot. If you're not subscribed, please do, it will mean a lot. Please like, comment and share this video and let's get into it. Okay, so this is another video in the series of our home education do's and don'ts. So I want to preface this video about screens and online learning with the point that this is a video about our do's and don'ts, not what you should do and not do. So just bear that in mind. This is not me telling you what to do, this is just elaborating on our choices in life. Okay, so screens. I first want to say that screens and online learning, the internet can be an incredible place especially for the home educating environment, and especially for people and learners who find it hard to access things outside of that, and the internet and computers and so on allow them to reach a place and engage with something they would normally be able to or would normally refuse to. So I am not disregarding that in any way or diminishing that or judging that at all. It can be a really, really useful and exciting place for people recreationally, educationally and socially. So just also bear that in mind. I'm not saying this is none of these things are blanket statements, and none of these, and some of these may not even apply to you, if that makes sense. I would also say that our current home educating situation is that my oldest is an adult now, but they were home educated through their secondary school years. My middle is still in. My middle is about. Okay, and I will also preface this all with letting you know our current home educating circumstances. So my oldest is now an adult and they were home educated through their secondary school years. My middle is currently doing my middle is in their lead up to GCSEs. They're just doing that at the moment, and then they're going to go on to college or 6th form to do to do subjects that will support their next step into their goal of going to university to study what they want to study. And so I'm currently actively home educating my youngest 4.5-year-old. So I am speaking from that perspective also. My home educating life with my child is that of a young child's learning capabilities and experiences. So when I'm talking about online, I am talking about online with a child who is very young. Things may change as she grows and lessons and learning become more complex and complicated, and my grasp on the information and knowledge that I would want her to learn becomes less reachable for me to be able to provide her. I mean, I'll still be able to create the space and the opportunities and prepare an environment that can support that learning, but I would not be the sole provider of the teaching, if that makes sense. So things will change, things may change regarding online learning and screens specifically for structured home education. So that all said, I will begin the video. So why we minimize screen use and we don't use online learning platforms in our home education environment are for these main reasons. I'll give you the headings and then I'll elaborate a little bit more on each. So eyesight, tangibility, presence, the culture of our family, and the future of my children. So firstly, eyesight. I think this one kind of goes without saying or doesn't need much explanation. Screens are just factually not good for your eyes. They weaken the muscles, deteriorate their vision, all that stuff. So the less we use them, adults and children alike, the better for all our eyesight. I recently had an eye test, and the ophthalmologist was saying that everyone will eventually need glasses, at least for reading, because with aging our lenses, the muscles in our lenses deteriorate over time. And we can slow down that aging process by giving our eyes rest and giving our eyes opportunities to work and maintain muscle strength. And looking at screens, especially close up, is just, it doesn't do that, it does the opposite. So obviously for my 4.5-year-old child, she doesn't need to see screens close up. She doesn't need to watch things so often. There's a whole world that she's still brand new to in the grand scheme of life, and the screen is like the least important thing that she needs to look at in life and in home education. So that's eyesight. Tangibility refers to real life. There are some beautiful things, some incredible, interesting, exciting things we can find on the internet about the world around us. But there is nothing better or more enriching or more engaging or more memory holding than actually experiencing the world for yourself. So if we're learning about English trees, we'll go outside and see the English trees because we are in England. Obviously, if we're learning about South America, unfortunately, I'm currently, I don't think I've won the lottery yet, so I can't just hop on an aeroplane and go to the forest in Brazil, for example, and see the trees firsthand. So we can access that through the internet, through YouTube videos or online images. And in books, of course, which is the main port for us. But when you can experience tangible things, real life, real time, with your own hands and eyes in the moment, then that is the preference. And that will engage and enrich learning much more deeply than just seeing it on a screen or watching a video that is passive and 2D. So that's what I prefer for my child in her learning, is to actually go and experience it herself without needing the screen. When I say presence, I mean as in being present, me with her and her with me, and the relationship that we create in our learning environment. Home education is part of life, so the relationship isn't separate. I'm mother, she is child, but I'm also teacher and guide, and she is learner. So that relationship is really, really important. And I think introducing online teachers and lessons online and the internet and videos where I could do that, like replacing me with abstract images and abstract voices, abstract and no relationship, I feel would do a detriment to her learning, because as home educators we are their first port of call. Sorry, I was just distracted by what a magpie's doing up there. As home educators, we are our children's first port of call for knowledge and for understanding, for care, for an environment that they can happily and safely learn in. So interrupting that relationship with external sources at this age, when all the learning that she will be doing at this age and beyond for now is at my level. I mean, I can handle it, I can teach at this level, I can guide at this level. Everything she currently knows in terms of what she's learned during, like in her structured home education, is things that I have taught or provided guidance for her to learn because of our relationship, the real life relationship, the real life discussions and interactions and stories and follow-ups, and then it's carried on through the day and weeks and months and years, and there are memories held with them as well. When you are just watching a screen and someone talk at you, it can be great, you can find some real nuggets of juicy information, but the learning and the knowledge held from the interaction with someone you have a relationship with in real life will never Nothing can beat that. So I want to hold on to that relationship, familial and bond, like that familial relationship, that bond we have, but also that educational exchange and collaboration that we have in our home education environment, where we know that, well, she knows she can come to me, she can rely on me as a resource and as a port of care and comfort when she's learning these things, that she is safe in this environment to expand, to explore, to ask questions. And that cannot happen. It just can't happen online or via the internet or via videos. That is all passive. That is all passive consumption rather than engaged learning. So I want to hold on to that as long as possible. That tangibility, that presence in learning. And that just speaks to, I guess, the culture within our little family, where we do not put technology or the internet on a pedestal. We use it every day, of course, just because we live in this world. But we don't, it's not like a holy grail of information and life and entertainment and resource. I mean, Google is my best friend. When it comes to like brain fog and wanting to know synonyms for words when I'm writing my dissertation, or finding out what something means, or when we've come across something in a book and we're like, oh, well, actually, what is the difference between that and that? We are so lucky to have that resource to utilize, and I definitely use it every day for home educating or just general life. But we don't put it on a pedestal where that is the place we get everything from. That is the thing we rely on. I still want myself and my children to rely on ourselves and each other for those things, for little things that you can quickly Google. Yeah, of course, it makes sense, but where your values come from, where your voice comes from, where your thoughts, your critical thinking, your ideas, your creativity, that should come from yourself and the people around you, rather than abstract things on the screen or on the internet. So the culture of our family is, we don't have a TV. We view cinema and theatre and film as another form of art, just like the paintings on our walls, the literature on our bookcases, the music we listen to and dance to and play to. It's all forms of art that we appreciate and not just use and consume passively. So, for example, all three of my children as infants, i.e. before they were 1, all three of them experienced cinema, theatre, puppetry, ballet, and live music, like on stage gigs, before they were 1. They all experienced those and have continued to attend every year of their life, all of them, 2015 and 4. That is what we have done, and that's what I have introduced to them from a young age, and therefore they have learned the etiquette of engaging in those art practices. So we go to galleries, they've always known how to behave in galleries, and I don't mean like, stay quiet, don't do this, but just to learn to appreciate and observe and interpret and respect the things around them. When we've gone to the theatre, they know to sit and watch and engage and listen and understand what's happening and talk about it and question it. When we watch film, we don't just sit and like consume it blindly, if that makes sense, or consume it unthinking. We use that film as entertainment, like we enjoy it, we laugh, but it also sparks conversation as a family, which is also part of the entertainment, but also part of developing and building ourselves individually as a family and in relation to each other, the principles we hold, and what we want for ourselves, the world, each other. We do that through conversation, and that's because in the culture of our family is to view these things as art, not just as consumables. So that's the culture of our family. We don't put technology or the internet on a pedestal. We don't put screens on a pedestal. We use them, but we use them intentionally, meaningfully, and with a purpose. And that's the same for the home education environment in our family as well. When I'm using the screen or the internet in our home education structured learning time, it's because there is an intention, there is something there that can support the learning. It is never just going to be a passive one-way interaction where we just watch something, absorb it or not absorb it, and then move on. There's always a reason, a purpose, and a minimal amount of time spent with it in terms of the home education environment. So the culture of our family is not to put it on a pedestal and to continue to rely on ourselves and each other to find joy and create knowledge, create a space to want to learn. And so because of that, the future for my children, I want them to continue to adopt this in their life, where they don't rely on technology, they don't become obsessed with the devices, that they understand that they are separate from the device. And that might sound silly to say, like we know we're separate from the device, but really a phone, like a smartphone, has become a lot of our identity, in that you're not without your phone, you're never without your phone in your hand. A lot of people, they have it attached, literally attached to them. It's a new appendage. So I don't want my children to live in the world with that feeling that is part of them, but they are separate from it, and it's just a tool to reach things that are unreachable in terms of accessing information, or people that you can't immediately get access to, like you can just by going outside and seeing a tree. So yeah, the future I want for my children is, despite this technology and AI and all these problematic internet situations and things, this society we live in where that is like encompasses everything is to do with that, I would like my children to be aware that they are a whole person before any of those things. Okay, with all that said, my anti-screenness in home education is not me actually being anti-screens or anti-internet. Like I said, we have, family movie night, we watch YouTube, we watch documentaries, we use the internet, we use the internet for some of our lessons. For example, my little one's music lessons, which is just Thistles and Biscuits Woven Melodies, where each lesson looks at a different instrument and its history, different people who play it from different cultures, the variations of that instrument. So we engage YouTube videos for that, to watch performances or to hear people sing along to or play it in different ways. So that's an intentional use of the screen and the internet for that purpose. For Spanish, songs are an incredible way to learn and to maintain learning. So we engage with a very select few Spanish songs, but we don't even watch the whole songs. We watch a clip of a song that relates to what we're learning that week, and then we use that video away from that video, if that makes sense. So we watch the video, and then we're able to, because the songs are catchy, we can sing the song away from the internet. We don't have to use it every time. We just utilize it when we need it, and then it's done with. We don't rely on it, if that makes sense. I say if that makes sense a lot. So yes, we use in our life and in our family, we use the internet, we use screens, we engage with those things, but we do it with a purpose. And in our home education environment, again, we use it with a purpose, but I resist using online learning platforms to maintain that relationship, that trusting, safe relationship between myself and my child, me the guide, my child the learner, to maintain that relationship and to maintain that reliance on self and family rather than external sources, especially at this stage and age. Like I said at the beginning, this is just an explanation of us and not what you should do. If you use an online learning platform and it's really helping your child and they really love it and they're engaged with it, then that's perfect, that's great, and that's the beauty of where we are as a society right now. That's like a good side of it. But I don't want to introduce my youngest to that world when right now what we have, our relationship, the world around us, things we are able to luckily access, all of those things to me are way more of a priority than learning and engaging with technology and the internet. That will, I'm sure, eventually come, but I want her and my children to be reliant on themselves before they outsource. Because then when you are reliant on yourself, when you trust yourself and your family, it's less easy to be swayed and influenced and absorbed into this world, like the bad side of the internet. When you have trust in yourself, when you know you can rely on yourself, because you have that knowledge, you have that foundation in self, then the internet and so on is just a separate tool, and you'll always see it as a separate tool rather than part of you or a need. I don't want them to need a phone or the internet or or entertainment online or learning online. I want them to be able to, as we have throughout history, learn from ourselves, from the people around us, from our environment and our community. So yes, I think that's the main point, is I'm not anti-screens, but I am anti-prioritizing technology and screens. It's not a priority, it's not a need in our home and family and home education environment. All right, well, good luck out there today, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful time. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. Like and share, as I said before. No arguments, be kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.